Welcome to another Triathlon podcast, the podcast that brings the electrifying world of triathlons right into your headphones. Journey into captivating conversations, share the excitement of race recaps, enjoy the humor only a triathlete would understand, and join us as we debunk myths and bring you the bare, thrilling truths of the triathlon world. So feel your heart pound, breathe in anticipation, and get ready to dive into the world of triathlon. This is another Triathlon podcast. Enjoy the ride.
Welcome back to another episode of another Triathlon podcast, brought to you by Mana Apparel. A little different voice this week. Jenna is off with some family obligations and has some family and friends in town, and then she's also getting ready for her big race in Australia. So tonight you got Fede and I, and we're going to hold it down as much as we can and give you as many updates as we can from what's been going on over in Paris and what's coming up in the Ironman world, and also with some super fast quick racing with Super Tri coming up around the corner. So Fede, how we doing, man? How's the training going? It sounds like you've been picking it up and throwing it down. So how's that been going?
Hey Josh, missing Jenna over here a little bit, but no, training's been going well. Feeling inspired with the Olympics, watching a whole bunch of disciplines that I don't normally watch. Of course, following the triathlon and cycling and the athletics up close with the marathon coming up. So training's been going well. A lot of volume on the bike, and on the run starting to pick up the volume as well. Foot feels great. No pain. So I'm excited. And I have Santa Cruz 70.3 because I couldn't make the trip to Maine. But hopefully that works out well. And excited and happy to be back training normally and consistently. Can't wait. I know Santa Cruz, I'm not going to be 100% myself, but just grateful that I'm going to be able to race again, and then using that to build towards T100 Las Vegas. That's going to be my tune-up race for 70.3 Worlds, which is going to be my A race for the season. So excited and happy to be back on the training horse. What about you?
Well, I mean, you're going to be peaking come Telpo, so perfect. It ends up being a blessing in disguise, maybe. And what
this is true.
Not the season you expected, but there's still a way to salvage it for sure.
Absolutely. No, you said it. Probably a blessing in disguise. I was wondering how I was going to keep up the shape for as long as the season is, but now with the injury and everything, maybe everything turns out well that I'm going to be peaking come December.
Have you changed anything with your running at all that maybe you picked up that because of the injury, or any gait or anything that like you've done differently, or shoes or?
Not really, because the injury was, accident related. It wasn't like form, or it was just I fell on a rock. But no, using a lot of the lever right now for my quote unquote long runs, which are 90 minutes tops right now. So using that for like the main set of my long run. So I do the warm up without it, then put on the lever, and then do the cool down without it. So that's been helping a lot of keeping the lungs and heart strong, but taking the impact away from the legs. So that's something that I've been using now a little bit more.
Yeah, and for anyone of our listeners that don't know, and this is not a sponsored ad or anything, but the lever is this really cool system that was developed by a bunch of elite athletes out in Boulder, Colorado, I believe, that allowed you to remove a percentage of your body weight with a pulley lever system that attaches to your treadmill. So there's a lot of top level triathletes and elite runners that have been using it. So definitely check them out if you're battling an injury or upping your volume. That's another thing to do, is to offset some volume upticks with it as well. And I've been using it too as I get my volume going. Very cool. Right. Yeah. So speaking of volume, I've been kind of chugging along. My coach keeps throwing it at me, and then the body keeps responding. So we just keep adding and tweaking it a little bit. So even let's say tonight would normally be a big run day, hill workout, track workout type day for me, but we're going to do it on the bike instead. So I'm going to do some threshold type intervals, a couple of those, and then max effort 10 buys for 20 seconds. Just kind of changing up the muscles and adding volume that way without having to get out and pound the pavement or the track. So it's been really cool though. I've been doing a lot of track workouts, been doing a lot of 400s, 800s, 1200s, mile repeats. And then this week I had a 6x1K, 7x1K with over under. So just above threshold and then under threshold for 1K. So that was really cool to do and just to see the heart rate not really jump and then also recover really quickly at just under threshold. So the body is responding to this volume and really happy with that and still biking, still swimming. I still have my next and last triathlon on the schedule, at least for this year, is August 18th at Boston Triathlon, also home of the first Super Tri event. So looking forward to that weekend. In general, we're going to have a shakeout run with Mana Apparel and Human Powered Health again that weekend. So anyone who's in the New England area or in the Boston area that weekend, let me know. We're going to be doing a cool shakeout run that Saturday morning, the 17th. And there's a good opportunity that we'll have some Olympic medalists or some of the Olympic athletes at the event running with us too. So be really cool to have that. And I also had a big time first. So I did my long ride on Sunday this past weekend and knew there was going to be some storms coming through and picked a good route and had it on my Edge, my Garmin computer and had my workout on there and had a pretty easy workout, but it was long. It was about 3 hours and we knew we had a few efforts in it. So out riding by myself, missed a couple turns, made a couple U-turns. And on one of those U-turns, I was paying attention to the computer a little bit more than I should have been, trying to figure out where that turn was that I missed. And it had already poured a few times and caught a pothole. And man, you catch a pothole and you're not looking. And the bike goes flying, your clips come out, thankfully. But I was like, I said to my coach, it was like a BMX rider in the Olympics with the bike completely 45 degrees and you're completely sideways and then the bike goes away and you go away. And I do thank God that I was in the rain because it made the road rash less than what it probably would have been. And I probably slid 15 feet instead of being stopped 4 feet after hitting the ground. But a little bit of bruising and another hour and 20 minutes to go on the bike and was able to get up, shake it off, fix the bars a little bit. And luckily no cars were coming, that type of thing. No cars stopped, which was weird. But yeah, that was a scary moment, but it was a first and it's out of the way. And I've now dropped a bike and had that scary moment and flashing in your eyes and what the heck's going on. And next thing you know, you're back up and riding. So grateful to be able to get back up and run and then do a run off the bike that night and just kind of keeping it iced and mobility wise. And next thing you know, I don't even really feel it anymore. So lucky there. And again, happy to get it out of the way.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. I mean, like the saying goes, there's only two types of cyclists: the ones who have already fallen and the ones who are about to fall. So yeah, it's nothing. It's part of the job, I guess.
So if you're listening, send us in your story. Drop a DM on Instagram, drop a comment on Instagram. Maybe we'll put up a post and people can tell us about their first time crash. And if you haven't had one, God bless you. It's not, I do not wish it on anyone, but like Fetty said, you do know who you are. But it's definitely a experience I don't want to have again for a while. I'd rather have a flat left and right. It was also cool. Like we mentioned, I was out. I actually took the race wheels off and was riding on my regular training wheels too, and held up great. But it was maybe you got to stay focused, and especially
Yeah.
these days, right? And it was a good lesson to learn to even when you're using a Garmin computer or Wahoo computer or anything with the map, try and learn the route before you go. I think
Yeah.
that's kind of one of those lessons. So onwards we go, and I'm healthy, so thankful for that. And the training's going well, and marathon build is full blown, and we're gonna go try and have fun at Olympic triathlon as well. So looking forward to that. Speaking of Olympic triathlons, since we are recording a few days later than normal, we've got 2 individual triathlons, mixed team triathlon, a couple road races to talk about. So, Betty, why don't you kick us off? Do we want to start with the men's or the women's race?
Let's
kind of go in chronological order.
Yeah, let's go in chronological order. Let's start with the women. First of all, we started debating if there was actually gonna be a triathlon because Paris had a lot of rain in the days leading up to. They rescheduled the event, so yeah, it was wild, and it was amazing to see how hard or how strong the current was due to the rain that the athletes had to go through. And it was at some points it looked like they were swimming still, and then all of a sudden they were blazing fast. But on the girls' side, we had the race favorites in the likes of Cassandra Beaugrand, Georgia Taylor Brown, Flora Duffy, Beth Potter, the veteran Rachel Klammer from the Netherlands. Taylor Spivey from the US, Laura Lindemann, the Uber biker Maya Kingma, of course, from the US, we had this superstar cyclist and triathlete Taylor Niv. So it was a stack field, and these Olympic races, they are everything but world record shattering events. Not that there are world records in triathlon, because every course is different. And that got a little bit into my nerves, because I was watching it on the Spanish broadcaster, and she was constantly saying that X course was faster this Olympics, X athlete was faster on the swim, and I was like, no, each course is different. Just shut up. And yeah. So, anyways, we had local, and I guess doing a race in homeland either can make or break your race. Some athletes use that energy to channel the best of themselves, and some others just fall with the pressure. And this was the case in 2012 with Alistair Brownlee and Johnny Brownlee. And now the French had a lot of pressure, especially, on the men's side, leaving out Vincent Louis. But now on the girls' side, they had, Cassandra Beaugrand, who's, a very strong athlete, Emma Lombardi, Leon Perriot. So just super strong athletes, and it was a very, very eventful race. We had rain on the event, and there were a lot of falls, and we saw the experience of Flora Duffy taking in. She took the race from the get go, using being super smart on the swim, and then being the Uber biker that she is, just exploiting every single inch of that course. She didn't fail off the bike as some other athletes did. Some athletes Olympics race was over on the bike, and just a lot of girls falling off. But Flora, being the current Olympic champion, came into transition first. And then we saw a class run from Cassandra Beaugrand from France. She was just moving at a different pace from everyone and taking the race by herself. She took the win in 1:54:55, running at 32:42, and not back, and was probably a dark horse for some. But this girl is a very strong athlete, and I think her strength lies in middle and long distance racing. From Switzerland, Julie Deron. Oh my God, how the fact that she ran also in the 32s, 32:51, and she rode 57 minutes, some 22. So it was just amazing racing from her. And on third place, we had Beth Potter from Great Britain. who surprisingly did not have the fastest run split because she already went to an Olympics in track and field, and everybody was expecting her to have like a super solid run. But no, it was Cassandra with the fastest run split and taking the win in home soil.
It was it was interesting from the beginning, like you said, and even with the swim and the fact that they had the crowd noise going and amping up the crowd with the music probably wasn't the smartest thing to do, because the swim start beep was the same beep that they use inside at the pool, where you can hear a little better than you can outside.
Yeah.
So I'd say maybe 2/3 of the female swimmers started at the same time, and then there was a group of which I believe Taylor Knibb was included in that kind of sat on the platform and went late when there was an air horn from a fan.
Yeah.
So that was unfortunate. And when you get that early lead in a downriver swim like that, it does set some separation out, and you could tell that they were playing catch up. That group from the pontoon really never got back into the race, I don't think. And And Flora, I think Flora has set the tone for every swimming event in the Seine this whole week. And she showed people what the best route is by hugging the coastline and hugging the weeds and hugging the boats and hugging the barges and cutting back in at the last minute. Even though you had to swim a little longer distance, you were going to use less effort. So she certainly did what she needed to do to give herself a chance. And I think she needed to do a 40K TT and get out in front. And she just couldn't hold on with the level of talent that's on the bike these days. And you get a few of them together, they're going to track her down. So it was a really cool race to see. And that run was just super fast, super special. And that's where, when you are the golden child of France and you do get that crowd going, it's going to pick you up, and all those nerves of having to hold court kind of go away. And I think we kind of talked about that last week too on our episode. It was, do you feel the pressure or not? And I think she just got into the race and fell into her own zone once she caught up, and off and running she went. So that, I mean, it was a really cool race. It was unfortunate to see Taylor Knibb not be a factor. And it was unfortunate to see Kirsten Kasper be one of those casualties on the bike with the course and then the mechanicals, and Taylor Spivey had a great race. Individually, amazing. She was in the mix, so you can't ask for anything more than that. But definitely not the race the Americans expected. But they redeemed themselves later in the week.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, no, it was a shame to see Kristen fall off the bike, and then Taylor not having the race she wanted. She looked frustrated because we knew she had the goods to show up, but thankfully she redeemed herself and the whole Team USA and on the mixed relays, which we're going to get to in a little bit.
Yeah, and you talked about Julie Daron. I mean, what remember that name, because as you said, middle distance and long distance is coming. And there's a chance she could be the one that challenges Taylor Knibb in that level of racing. And we did hear from Taylor as well that she's probably going to be focused on middle and long distance for a while here, and maybe not so much LA. So we'll see how that goes. But Taylor Knibb, Julie Daron could be the two names you might want to know in the next 4 years.
Absolutely. Yeah, 100%. I'm sure we're going to see big things from those two in the middle distance races, and probably they're going to give Ashley Gentle a run for her money over the T100.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see who else steps up too. So we all know that these short distance is kind of losing its luster too. So let's hope it sticks around. And as much of the controversy around the water and all that, I don't think it was as much World Triathlon as it was the Olympic Committee and the IOC and the conglomerate that they are. They're a huge engine, and when they say kneel down, you're going to kneel down and do what they need you to do. And they got to the point where the water quality had to be good. So they went.
All of a sudden.
We don't care how fast they have to swim. It's an infinity pool. They can make it back somehow.
True.
I definitely think the International Olympic Committee got the final ruling there. But so how about the men's race? I don't think we could. I didn't think we could top the women's race, but we certainly did with the men's finish.
Oh yeah, we had an amazing race on the men's side. We have current Olympic champion Christian Blumenfeld showing up to pull an Alistair Brownlee and go back to back in the Olympics. We had Alex Yee, Hayden Wilde, the favorites, Leo Verger, Pierre Lecour, Vasco Vilasa, Tyler Mislachuk from Canada. Everyone was there. And I remember a couple of episodes ago, I told you how I thought this race was gonna go, and I think I was 90% accurate. Um,
I
it
think you
was
almost spot on there.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, like I said, these Olympic races, they're very tactical, and you don't see a lot of heroic efforts. And if you do, it's probably because they want some TV time or air time. But the the guys that we thought were going to be there in the end, those were the guys that were fighting for the win, which were Alexi and Hayden Wild, and Hayden being very meticulous and very numbers driven, although it doesn't seem like it. I think he likes to play like, oh no, I just played by feel, but no, he's a very meticulous guy, and he was looking at his watch the whole entire run. And for a while, then he had us believe that he was going to win because he was pulling away from Alex on the run. And it wasn't until, I don't know, 600 meters left that Alex G grabbed everything he had on his insides and just sprinted and passed Hayden. I'm sure Hayden wanted to respond. Like, I know in his mind, he went, but his legs just couldn't follow. So amazing racing by Alexi, Hayden coming in second. So these two have Olympic gold and silver, from Tokyo and now Paris. I mean, Alexi has silver and gold, and Hayden has silver and bronze. So the only medal that these two are missing is a gold from Hayden and a bronze from Hayden. Probably in LA we're going to see that happening. And Christian, I mean, I I want to say it was a surprise, but maybe it wasn't as much of a surprise that he wasn't there because he was struggling in the past couple of months with going back from long to short, and it showed. He couldn't keep up with the running legs that these guys had on the day. Even though he pulled the group on the bike and he was willing to work super hard, he couldn't. I remember watching a video from Christian a couple of months ago, and he said it's gonna take high 28s, low 29s on the 10K to win, and he ran a 31:34 or so,
Yeah.
and he was right. He was right. Alex ran a 29:47, so 29 highs, not even 29 lows. But yeah, it was. Maybe we're starting to see that the Norwegian method is not bulletproof all the time, and that he is human after all. I mean, still a very gutsy race. He finished in 12th place, so very respectable placing. But yeah, Yi and Wild were in a different level, and local Leo Verger from France took the silver for France, home soil. So it was very cool to see Cassandra taking the gold on the girls' side, and then Leo taking the bronze on the boys' side. So yeah, it was a very cool race, and not rain didn't happen, so there weren't falls like on the girls' race, but still a very, very dramatic and cool race to watch.
Yeah, and I mean, in the French, not only did they have the gold on the women's side and Leo in the bronze they had four in the top four. So between the two of them, so it's like, okay, now we got the mixed team relay, and here's France showing their true colors. Nobody's got a chance against them come the mixed team relay. So that was the thought coming out of the individual race for sure, that they were ready to go, and we'll get into how that ended up going. But it was the men's race. You talk about Christian, and I would say that was more disappointing than Taylor Knibb and her performance, just because Christian was in it. Almost every guy was in that race coming off the bike.
Yeah.
I mean, that pack was huge coming into T2, and it came down to the 10K, and we knew who that probably meant. But at the same time, what Christian were we getting? Were we getting the Christian that literally focused for the Olympics? And the other piece is, how hard is it to go short course to long course and back?
Yeah.
And there aren't many people that have done it successfully now. And if the Norwegian method or Christian Blumenfeld can't cycle back into short distance, I don't know how many people can. And so it'll be interesting to see some of these Olympians go into T100, go into Ironman world champs, and play with that for a couple of years.
Yeah.
And then try and get back into Paris or into Los Angeles shape.
Yeah.
We'll see. It's definitely been something that is not easy to do. And I think that is a big factor. We all know that Christian's got a ton of other stuff going on with the whole Tour de France cycling team stuff. And he's still focused at Kona. We'll talk about the Frankfurt Ironman. He's on the start list there coming up in a couple of weeks. So, it was, and talk about disappointing too, Morgan Pearson. That was not the race we expected out of him, not the race he expected, not the excuses we wanted to hear from him, which was probably the most disappointing. But it sounds like he righted the ship a little bit too in terms of his mentality there, and not a space to be blaming other people. It's a lot of people in a short swim. You're gonna get banged around. So it's just the nature of the game, and it's interesting too. The strategy side around the swim became a huge factor, as we talked about leading into it. The swim was going to play a factor, and in the men's race, it probably did, because Hayden lost pace more so than Alex picked up pace in that last 1K. Yeah, but Alex was up in that front group on the bike and not chasing as much as Hayden and Christian were, and it was really Hayden and Christian taking turns pulling that chase pack up. So he certainly used a lot more. The swim was a factor there, and even though Hayden and Christian had better swims than we expected, it was still a factor come the final K on that run, for sure. And I think it was interesting to see some of the Americans struggle with the swim outside of Seth Ryder and Spivey. You find out maybe they didn't do the recon. Maybe they didn't talk about the current as much as they should have, and things like that. So kudos to the nations that did and figure out the routes and things to take. So, that's enough about the individuals. The mixed team relay was the true winner of the of the racing world, because we've seen some photo finishes, but it's been a good year for triathlon that way, and on the track and in the swimming pool. But in triathlon, center stage, mixed team relay. Hey, how'd it go down?
It was what a race, the mixed team relays, and it just goes to show how incredible these athletes are, and how glad am I that the mixed team relays is part of the Olympic program. It's just exciting, and you can see that it means that much. I mean, we as triathletes, probably not you and me, Josh, because we grew up playing team sports, but a lot of triathletes are very self-driven, and they've always been used to being a one-man show or one-woman show and just thinking for yourself and all of this. But adding the team element just makes you, look how excited these guys were of representing their country and racing for something bigger than themselves. They didn't want to let their teammates down. They want to make their country proud. They were racing for more than themselves. So it was amazing. It was an amazing race. And we had, obviously the favorites, France, we had Australia, we had Germany, the US, of course. We had Norway, New Zealand. But I don't want to say again dark horse, but not a lot of people were looking at Germany as a gold medal contender. People were looking at the US, people were looking at Great Britain, people were looking at France, Australia, New Zealand, but maybe not Germany. And the fact
maybe Belgium, but they weren't allowed to race, unfortunately.
Maybe Belgium, but they weren't allowed to race. Yeah. Oh man. A girl got sick and they couldn't complete the mixed team relay. So, but it was an incredible race. This time it was girl, boy, and the Germans were so good. They had already won in Hamburg earlier, and they backed it up with another mixed team relay win. They took the gold. A very smart race from the Germans. The lead man was very good, and the anchor woman Laura Lindemann was amazing, outstanding on the bike, very smart. She used all the bike power that Taylor Neve has on the bike to bridge up to Great Britain and Beth Potter. And like I was mentioning before, Beth coming from a track and field background, and this being an 1800-meter run, everybody was talking about how Beth Potter was going to run away from everyone, but nope. This shows you that this is not just an 1800-meter race. It's a triathlon, and you need to be strong in all three disciplines. And probably the bike took a little bit out of Beth's pop on the run that she couldn't respond to Laura Lindemann. So Germany took the win. The US took silver, and I attribute the silver medal to, of course, everyone. But if there was an MVP, it had to be Taylor Neve. She was riding her guts out. She bridged the gap and then even attacked the race from transition, and she was giving attacks, and she laid everything out there. So nothing to be ashamed for. An amazing silver medal for the US, and a lot of respect for Taylor Neve. This was the last event for her in these Olympics. The individual time trial didn't go as well as it could have gone because, also she had rain and a few mechanicals and, just a lot of misfortune. On the individual event, just bad luck. And this was a very cool redemption race. And you could see that it meant that much to her, that she was like, okay, I'm going to give it out everything I have. And I think she was the reason why the US won silver. And Great Britain, Beth held on for bronze. She also did an amazing race in the individual, and not taking anything from her, but she was struggling. Out of the three, she was the one that looked the most vulnerable on the run. And but yeah, kudos to the Germans. The last German triathlon champion was Jan, so it was very cool that he was on site, celebrating with his people.
Yeah, it was really neat to see, like you said, the whole team aspect of it. And our listeners who listen to the podcast regularly know I'm a big fan of relays in general. I've done 2 of them myself in the Ironman world, so big fan of it. And it was really cool to see. It was unfortunate that we didn't get to see the New Zealand team and the French team that we thought we were going to get to see with the early crash on the second lap of the bike. One of the last U-turns on the bike course, we had Pierre Lecour and Hayden Wilde go down in a pretty serious crash where there were some mechanicals on top of the crash, and Hayden Wilde came into T3, I guess you could call it T3.
T3.
T3 bloodied for the tag off, and then the French were over a minute down, and when you get a minute down in a race where there's drafting, not easy to catch up, and which was another cool story to see. To see Cassandra Beaugrand get them all the way back to 4th and run the leg that she ran to finish that race with nothing to win. Other than that was really cool.
That was just pride. You could see the pride that she was like, I don't care if we don't win a medal. And it just shows you the type of athletes these guys are. They're a different level. Yeah. I know probably what was going on through her mind. She was like, I cannot live with myself if I don't put 100% on this relay, no matter what. So, and that's why she had the fastest run split. And if the course was 700 meters longer, probably she could have won bronze.
I agree. And unlike the individual races, we actually saw a penalty for an early swim start. So there was there was a penalty there in T1. And the other thing that I thought was interesting, and I've asked a few people this, including some people involved with USA Triathlon, and I'd love to get your take, Fede, and the audience chime in if you'd like to on our social media page. But what are your thoughts on, there's 2 scenarios here. Beth Potter trying to get away on the bike. And, okay, is that the correct strategy. And this could come down to we just didn't have enough mixed team relay races this season, and there wasn't much of a trial. And then the other one is, should Taylor Knibb be Taylor Knibb and try and get away on the bike, or when she caught Laura Lindemann, should she have teamed up with Laura to bridge up to Beth together to save her legs for the run? So what are your takes on those two scenarios?
Oh man, I mean, this is picking hairs right now, splitting hairs. But I think the way the race panned out was the best way that athletes thought that they were putting themselves in the best position to win. I think waiting to bridge the gap and then pushing together would have been a bit risky. But no, I think this was the best way of doing it. I think because I think Taylor was betting on that she was going to break the legs out of everyone on the bike. And kudos to Germany, because they held on to her wheel, not pulling, just letting Taylor do all the pulling. So this was the best way. It was a strategic race from the Germans. It was a very gutsy and hard on the hand by the US, and a holding all for dear life and for pride from Great Britain. And then again, a very gutsy and pride moment from France from finishing fourth, and just a very unfortunate series of events that took Australia and New Zealand out of the picture very early on.
Yeah, no, I agree, and I kudos to the video coverage of the event for actually catching the girls clipping out or getting out of their shoes coming into T2 on that final leg, because it's a huge piece of transition, and in the short course world especially. And for a race to have three bikers that close together, to actually see all three of them go through that process, and to see Taylor start it early and actually get the advantage, because she did start early enough and was able to power down while the other two are still kind of fumbling around. And we all know Taylor's had some issues with her transition. So she certainly wanted to get some time between herself, and she actually needed it, because she fumbled to get her sneakers on and ended up leaving T2 in second place, I believe. So that definitely was a factor. And the only thing I didn't like, though, is we lost our good broadcasters from the individual race. And we didn't have the same quality of triathlon announcers for the mixed team relay.
Yeah, I mean, well, that's in the US broadcast, but on the Mexican TV, we had one. I don't want to say names, but there were two. I'm just going to say one of the two was horrible, and it was a surprise, because this person is a former pro triathlete, so it was just she kept saying Tokyo 2021 for some reason. And that just a lot of things, but can we just have people that are qualified to do the broadcast in all languages, please? Because it's a bit annoying that people that are getting into the sport get not the correct information all the time.
Yeah, no, it's a huge event, and it's the biggest event for these kids and these girls and these guys of their year for the most part, and they deserve that type of coverage too. So I mean, all in all, it was a great couple days for triathlon in general. I think the sport won a lot of fans, and it was awesome to see the streets packed with people, and the same thing goes with the road race too. I mean, Remco and
wow,
what a cool race and what a cool course. And I don't know if you want to touch on that real quick, Fed, because you were all over Remco, and we had a huge upset in the ladies' field.
Oh yeah, it was an incredible race from Remco. I just thinking about it, I got chills, because he knew his A race was going to be the time trial at the Olympics, and I'm sure he was over the moon with his result at the Tour de France this year, his first Tour de France on the podium. But then going to the Olympics in Paris, showing to the TT next to guys as big as Wout and Filippo Ganna, who are monsters on the bike, and him exploiting everything he has, on aerodynamics and power and everything. I'm pretty sure he's the guy with the lowest CDA on the pro peloton. he's so slippery. He's not a very muscular guy. Yes, I mean his quads are humongous, but he's not like the biggest guy. I mean, it's like all of a sudden me going against you on a flat TT. You'd put, 9 times out of 10 all the money on you because you can push more power. But the fact that he was so slippery on the TT and taking the gold and then backing it up on the road race, having a flat like 1 kilometer before the finishing line, and then it was just amazing to watch, and what a race. But I don't know if you want to touch a little bit more on this, but on the girls' side, we have a very amazing story. I mean, I don't know if you want to explain to the audience what happened, because I feel like you deserve explaining it because you are an American.
Yeah, so we had a historical day for American cycling, for sure. And as some of you might know who have listened to the show or follow triathlon, Taylor Knibb gave up her spot in the road race so that she could focus on the mixed team relay, which was the day before the road race. So she felt, the road race was the day before the mixed team triathlon. And she didn't want to do the road race and then be tired for the mixed team. So again, kudos to Taylor for giving up her spot. She gave it up to a track cyclist, Kirsten Faulkner, who really just started riding less than 10 years ago. She was a collegiate rower and a hedge fund venture capitalist in New York City, and decided to ride a bike a few years ago. And next thing you know, she's a pro cyclist and on the Team Pursuit cycling team, and gets tapped to do the road race. And she had done some recon. I just heard her do an interview yesterday or today. She looked at this course and she knew exactly if she got to the couple mile mark, 5K mark, somewhere around there, that she had picked a spot where she was going to go. And she was racing against the defending Olympic champion and Voss and trying to bridge up to the two of them, pulled her weight up to the lead pack, caught them, and then almost instantaneously took off and pulled away from the other three. And you're expecting, okay, they'll let her go and then they'll work together. And the three of them just started looking around like they were getting ready for a sprint finish, and there were still a couple kilometers left. They let her go. So if you have not watched this race, just go watch the last 10 minutes maybe, because it's epic and it's a really cool finish anyways. So check out Remco's and the women's race. But it's, what a performance. She literally TT to the end and there was no response. She had to solo ride into the finish. And then you did have a sprint finish for second, third, and fourth, and one of them is not going to get a medal. And that was a photo finish. So just another epic, cool moment for endurance sports and cycling and everything that we cover on a daily basis. So kudos to her. And then last night she goes and joins the Team Pursuit. And her and Chloe Dygart team together with two other teammates, and they drop another gold medal. So this girl, who wasn't even in cycling less than 10 years ago, has now put 2 gold medals together in less than a few days.
Amazing. And I mean, it's crazy because this happened the exact same last Olympics on the women's road race. I don't know if you remember, but the girl who won was like this, just a PhD, recently graduated person. And then she took off and the girls had no idea that somebody was up the road. And the girl who won second was celebrating as she was winning the gold medal, but somebody had finished before her. Kind of like the same scenario of what happened, but it's amazing that it happened back-to-back Olympics, and what a story.
Yeah, really, really cool. So many moments in the Olympics. We could have a whole nother show on that, but we're a triathlon podcast, so we try and keep it to cycling and triathlon. So speaking of triathlon, now that we've kind of done our race results and everything, we've got a big Ironman coming up, and we also have a really cool short course coming up. So I think jumping into, before we get into the start list coming up, the social media post of the week is just check out SuperTry. SuperTry_ is their Instagram account. They've now announced 3 of the 4 teams. So the athletes are coming out. And as we talked about before the Olympics, and based on some of the connections I have with the people running SuperTry and the coaches, we knew there were going to be a ton of Olympians, and sure enough, your gold medalists are on these teams, your silver medalists are on these teams, your bronze medalists are on these teams, the mixed team relay. So Super Tri starting off their season right here in Boston, August 18th. There's still one team to be announced. So the Brownlee team, Alistair and Johnny's team, is going to announce their roster, I think, probably tomorrow. And so keep your eyes on Super Tri. And right now it is Thursday, so we should have an answer from them on Friday when our podcast drops. So check out the Super Tri Instagram social account and give them a follow, because their season in the outdoor world is about to kick off on August 18th, and then it goes to Chicago, and on and on. So really cool opportunity if you're in the US or in other parts of the world that they hit throughout the year to check out some of these Olympians up and close.
Yep, 100%.
And then real quick, our WTF of the week is the one and only Tomas.
Jeepers.
Yet again, not unsurprising news came out this week that we had somebody else doping, and claiming that they didn't know that they were doping, and a lot of different things there. And it's obviously hit close to home to Fede and others in the Mexican region, just because it just starts pointing fingers that don't need to be pointed. But what an unfortunate situation. It's thankful that the people who he is beat out in some of these races are going to get their money and get their Kona slots as well. Yeah. There's a post that I put up on our Another Triathlon podcast that's from a study from a few years ago from WADA that shows that he's probably not going to win his appeal based on the way that they are doing this testing. They know whether or not it was consumed, which is what he's claiming he did, or if it was taken. Attention. So unfortunate, and hopefully we get some cool stories out of it, like Andre Lopes getting to go to Kona.
That's awesome.
And some others getting some. I mean, now Patrick Lang is your defending Texas champion. So a lot of different things to come of it. What's your take, Fed? I know you're such an anti-doping cohort on this, and we talk about it all the time, unfortunately. But what are your gut feelings?
Yeah, I mean, it's very heartbreaking to see when a pro athlete cheats or tries to cheat the system by doping. He probably has his reasons. However, I don't see any valid point for somebody who cheats and dopes. It's just not cool. I don't think there's room for dopers in our sport or any sport. And it's funny because a couple of days before all of this happened, I reposted a statement by Michael Phelps that he was saying that he wants lifetime bans for dopers. And a couple of days after that, after he posted that and I reposted it, the news broke out. So I was like, yeah, I mean, I don't see why we are forgiving these athletes for doping, because if they did it once, they're probably going to do it again, or they're going to try to find ways to cheat the system. And for now, the situation is not set in stone. I mean, he appealed it, but like you said, he's probably not going to win it. I mean, the fact that the statement that he's using is a very poor statement about how he got a positive test. I mean, and I don't want to say that all dopers sound the same, but they do. They all say it was something bad they ate. They didn't know they were putting an illegal substance in on their body. And the fact that he is a Mexican triathlete, it's a little bit tougher because, it's not that there are a lot of long distance triathletes, and he was one guy who got the Mexican triathlon community excited about, but I guess that, if easy comes, easy goes. And I don't want to say his rose to fame was out of nowhere, but it was very sketchy, to put it one way or the other. And I'm just glad that the people who are working with the anti-doping agencies and all that catch people that cheat, no matter the ethnicity, no matter what. This is not a Mexican problem. This is a sport problem. All nationalities dope. I just think it's the lowest of the low that you could do as an athlete, calling yourself professional and then cheating the system and looking your competitors in the eye and say, congratulations, I beat you, but you're dirty. So that's not cool.
No, and not to make a light of it, it has brought out the best in some of the comedic professional athletes in triathlon. Check out Joe Skipper; he's had some fun with it.
Yeah, that was fun.
There was even one of our previous dopers, Colin Chartier, was called out in a comment.
That was the best one.
Somebody said, "Well, Colin, do you need a new realtor with your agency?" And I think we found somebody we can send your way. And Colin's like, once a cheat, always a good house cleaner or something like that. So having some fun with it, unfortunately. So I think we've covered everything we needed to cover today. I think our plan is next week to hopefully have some people on from Super Tri, as we've talked about before. So we'll get into the Super Tri races next week for sure. But if we don't get a chance to talk about Frankfurt, let's cover that now, because we've got the start list and it's packed. There's 6 spots left for Kona. And this is for Ironman Frankfurt European champs, I think, next week. So August 18th as well. And we've got the likes of Patrick Lange, Christian Blumenfeld, Matt Hansen, Jackson Laundry, Colin Such, Robert Wilkowecki, Trevor Foley, again. Paul Schuster, Pamphile Perron, Clement Mignon, Nick Thompson, Andre Lopez is going, Braden Curry, Bradley Weiss, Cam Worth. I mean, the list goes on and on. This field's packed, but you also got a lot of these guys who are racing for the Ironman Pro Series points, and not necessarily their Kona slots. So the Kona slots are going to drop potentially down into 10 plus placings, depending on how the race goes for the favorites or the people that already have Kona slots.
Yeah, it's going to be an interesting race because, like you said, there's going to be people racing for Kona spots, being very strategic, and then there's going to be people racing for the Ironman series. So it's going to be like 2 races within the race. It's going to be exciting for sure.
It will be interesting because we're now getting into all that stuff we've talked about, where every second counts, right?
Yeah.
And you don't want to let a winner go up the road like you do in the Tour de France, maybe because they're not going after the GC. Well, now every one of these guys are going after the GC. So
True.
They start the clock though. So even if they're not a contender in the Pro Series, they're starting your clock. And you might see a Patrick Lange hold on the bike a little longer than he wants to because he doesn't want to come from behind in the run and chase people down. You've got Trevor Foley. What is his strategy? And so it will definitely be an interesting race. And it's one of those races too where the winning time's gone anywhere from just over 8 hours to like 7:40. So what kind of conditions do we get? It's going to be a factor as well. So I don't know, Fed. Who do you think's going to take it? And I mean, obviously we're going to have huge Kona implications and huge Pro Series implications. But who do you think's going to take the top step?
I mean, I think I'm going to go with since Jenna's not here, I'm going to go Canadian, and I'm going to pick Jackson for the win.
Wow, you think he learned his lesson in Lake Placid, huh?
Yeah, I think so. And I think he's in for a revenge. What about you?
Man, I mean, along the same lines, I think we've got some athletes that have been racing consistently and racing well. And I don't know how you pick against Trevor Foley right now. So I'm gonna stick with the kid. And I believe a win here would put him right up at the top, depending on how Matt Hansen does and how Patrick Lange does. You've got all the top guys in the Pro Series there getting ready for Kona. And
I like our picks.
Yeah. So Jackson and Trevor Foley. All right. we'll check back in after Frankfurt, and hopefully next week we'll have our big Super Tri episode. If not, we'll definitely get back to you with a regular episode and discuss what we feel about that coming up. But we don't always ask, but please go give us a follow at Another Triathlon Podcast on Instagram. Rate, like, do whatever you can to help us out in the podcast world. There's a lot of different options out there, so we appreciate those of you that listen to us and let your friends know about it. So thanks for everyone that has gotten us to a year plus, and we're just going to keep doing what we do. So everyone have a great night. Fed, awesome talking.
Yeah,
have a good week.
good to talk to you, man.
All right.